And now, MTA International brings you the world news.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome once again to the Ijtema site for the National Khuddam Ijtema 2018. The Ijtema has concluded, and I'm sure all of you have seen the live concluding session that was broadcast on MTA International as a faith-inspiring end to this three-day event. We've been bringing you live coverage throughout the event and showing you all the different sides and aspects to this year's Ijtema. And the first report we're going to show for you today is of the World War I exhibition, which took place here. Now, World War I was an extremely important event which changed history forever, and it was something that was actually mentioned by the Promised Messiah alayhi salam in many of his prophecies. And there's a special exhibition which gave an Islamic perspective to that. So let's have a look at that report.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So you are in the outreach marquee at the Ijtema 2018, and one of the exhibitions on display here is about the World War I. And it's been 100 years. It's the centenary of the fulfillment of a great prophecy. It seems that we're passing through the same sort of situation once more, and the grave dangers that the world is once more heading towards a major world war.
I think the World War was a horrible moment because lots of people died, and I think this happened because people were forgetting Allah.
This exhibition reminds us of the prophecies of the Promised Messiah.
But the Promised Messiah, alayhi salatu wasalam, who is the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, in very clear terms, he forewarned that such world wars will happen.
And so Hazur reminds us all to do our 5 daily prayers.
And it is a reminder that this has happened in the past, and this can happen again unless we change our ways.
Hazur has written to many world leaders and has wrote them that about the World War III.
And that is the whole purpose. It's a reminder. Our young Khuddam and Atfal, they're coming here and they're reading through all these posters that we have here for them to get educated about the past and how to move forward and how to lead our lives in the future as well.
This exhibition reminds us to follow the Imam of the time to avoid World War III.
And how we, if we do our 5 daily prayers, we could stop it.
So that was coverage from one of the many exhibitions that were held on site. And now I'm joined by respected Adam Walker Saab, who's Naib Sadr Khuddamul Ahmadiyya. Adam Saab, assalamu alaikum. Welcome. We've just had the faith-inspiring concluding session. What are your feelings now that the Ijtema has come to an end?
Feelings of happiness and joy that we had the opportunity to have be graced with the company of Hazrat Khuddamul Masih, Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Aziz, and also sadness that another Ijtema has passed, and looking forward to the next Ijtema really. One of the things that really sticks with me at the end of the Ijtema is the speech of Hazrat Khuddamul Masih. It's an enormous blessing for us at Khuddamul Ahmadiyya UK, and indeed the entire world through MTA, to be able to listen to Hazur in person. And in particular when Hazur said today that given that the theme of the Ijtema is Salat, said that Salat is not something that's just a yearly theme, but it's a lifetime theme, something that we should imbibe in our lives even when we're sort of into our 70s and 80s. So that really stuck with me, and I think with most of the people who are here.
So this I mentioned that there were over 5,000 people who attended the event this year. What inspires people to come from all over the country to spend the 3 days here at the Ijtema?
Brotherhood. Brotherhood for the sake of Allah is really the thing that inspires people. And that's something that goes on all year round in local qiyadats, and it goes right through the way of the Nizam system that we have into the regions, through the regional Ijtemas and then to the national Ijtema. So it's the opportunity to meet old friends, to make new friends, and to enjoy the expanding Ijtema, because there are lots of new things every year. I think that's a very positive thing about the Ijtema, that each year the committee that organises it is looking to try and find new ways to entertain and spiritually and physically the Khuddam and Atfal brothers that attend.
Jazakallah, Adam Sab, thank you for taking the time out. So as Adam Sab said, there's a special sense of brotherhood here at the Ijtema, and there are people who are coming here for the first time. And now we have a special report about one brother who came from the Middle East to attend the UK Ijtema for the first time. And in fact, it was the first time that he'd ever laid eyes upon Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V. May Allah be his helper. He had very special emotions in his heart and he wanted to share that with us. So let's take a look at that report now.
फूल तुम पर फरिश्ते निछावर करे और कुशादा तरक्की की राह करे.
My name is Mohammed. I'm from Palestine and I've just moved to UK Newcastle for studying, and during this period I did experience a lot of interesting and amazing things, so I was afraid that I am going to feel homesickness. And so a couple of days ago, some brother from London told me there is an Ijtema for Khuddamul Ahmadiyya in London, why you don't come? Now you are part of Khuddamul Ahmadiyya. So he thankfully arranged everything for me, and I come on yesterday. And the Association of Humanity First, it helped me a lot regarding the paying tuition fees in my country, Palestine. And I'm very, very grateful for them. And I was one of the beneficiaries of them. And I hope in the future I will be able to pay humanity back.
बेसदा जिनकी आँखों का करबो बला करबला है दिले आशिका के लिए. बेसदा जिनकी आँखों का करबो बला करबला है दिले आशिका के लिए. आए वो दिन के हम जिनकी.
I spoke for 1 minute to defend Muhammad's peace be upon him. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad. I am from Palestine and I am an Ahmadi. I totally believe that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the seal of all prophets. And I would like to talk about the aspect of forgiveness of Muhammad, peace be upon him.
प्यार के फूल दिल में सजाए हुए.
And I come yesterday, and it was so inspiring and influential to see Hazur for the first time. This moment, my legs started shivering automatically. I don't know why. And for the first time, I prayed behind them, and it was so much inspiring for me. I wish for the future I will keep myself touched with a lot of ijtema that are going to happen in UK.
So very heartwarming sentiments there from our brother from the Middle East. And it just shows you that love of Khilafat that connects members of the Ahmadiyya community from all around the world. Now I'm joined by Farooq Mahmood Saab, who is Muhtam Imam for Khuddamul Ahmadiyya UK. Farooq Saab, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Farooq Saab, we've just come to the end of this concluding session, the end of this flagship event for the year. What are your feelings at this point in time?
I think feelings is a combination of course, everyone feels emotional that it's been a success, alhamdulillah. Secondly, the sense of responsibility that sort of lies ahead of us now. Year ends, and again, Hazur gives us a very important, pertinent message for us to take home, which in fact is Salat once again. I mean, it reminds me even the first of the Ijtemas we had since Hazur became Khalifa in 2003, a couple of months after he became Khalifa. Even that was also about Salat. And Hazur addressed both the Germany Khuddam and the UK Khuddam at that time. So it tells us that how important task of a Khalifa is in terms of inculcating in us how important Salat is, and then how concerned Hazur is for our well-being. So I think, yes, going home with mixed emotions, thankfulness, gratefulness. Hazur has blessed us for the last 3 days, and he's led us in prayers. But I think another thing is, in fact, Hazur has taught us so many lessons being here. One thing is about Salat itself. Hazur has been so busy, of course. Relentless period of so many weeks of Hazur's tours, went to Germany, then Belgium, then come straight here, 3 days here with us. Now next week at the Ijtema of Ansarullah and Lajna Ma'allah. And it's a relentless calendar of Hazur's. But at the same time, the calmness and
and the serenity in Huzur's face at all times, which is quite is passed on to people. So when you look at Huzur, you become the same. So a lot of young children, for example, they're very keen on getting close to Huzur or seek attention of Huzur and say salam, and Huzur very calmly stands with them for a little while, talks to them, smiles at them and asks them interesting questions which kids feel fulfilled with.
Yeah, it's the small things that really warm their hearts. You've been involved in the organisation side of the Ijtema for many, many years, and as a Khadim yourself, you've seen the Ijtema grow over the decades. How has the Ijtema as an event, how has it developed over the last few years?
Indeed, it has grown astronomically in the last few years in particular. Wasim Makanak being one of the revelations of Prophet Islam, and we've seen that even within the auxiliary organizations of Jamaat, and Khuddamul Ahmadiyya is no exception. And what we've seen is, in fact, again going back to Huzur's Khilafat when it started, we had Ijtemas and even Jalsas held in Islamabad, which is absolutely unimaginable now. So of course, size-wise has grown. Secondly, what happened was very much at the early days of this administration, 6 years now, was the focus on house visits, going to people's houses across the country. And that, in fact, reflects on the Ijtema itself. So what happens is Ijtema, as the Muslim Ahmad even said this as well, the Ijtema is not just a one-day thing, it's in fact, your preparation starts because you are approaching Khuddam. As the Muslim admonished at some point, I think it was 1941, but maybe because that was the first year when he gave a speech separate to Ijtema Khuddamul Ahmadiyya. Anyhow, so what happened was the house visits in fact reflected on attendance at Ijtemas. Attendance now again being more than 5,000, you've heard. And similarly, the engagement of Khuddam, even at the Ijtema, for example, there's so many other events happening. For example, youth marquee, where some of the Khuddam feel as if they lack confidence to do other things. For instance, they've got other things to do. So plenty of other affairs to enjoy yourself and learn at the same time. And often namaz behind Huzur, nothing is like that.
Jazakallah Fruks, I appreciate it. We are short on time, and as we mentioned, the highlight of the event was the concluding session that was graced by the presence of Huzur, and we have some pertinent moments from that which we'll show for our viewers now.
On the final day of the Khuddam Ijtema, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, may Allah be his helper, arrived and graciously gave time to take photos with the various Amla groups. Following this, Huzur led the Zuhr and Asr prayers in the main marquee, before the commencement of the concluding session. Sadr Khuddamul Ahmadiyya UK gave a brief report regarding the various aspects of the Ijtema.
By the grace of Allah, we have now arrived at the concluding session of this year's Ijtema. The theme of this year's Ijtema is Salat, which was followed in all local and regional Ijtemas. It is only with Allah's grace and mercy and Huzur's continued guidance and prayers that we have been able to set up and hold Ijtema at this site, Country Market in Hampshire.
I will now read out the names of the winners for academic and sports competitions who will have the honor of receiving prize from the blessed hand of beloved Huzur Aqdas Ayyadallahu Ta'ala.
The winners of the various academic and sports competitions were blessed to receive their prize from His Holiness. This year's Ijtema was concluded with the address delivered by Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, may Allah be his helper, which was followed by silent prayer.
This year, Majlis Khuddamul Ahmadiyya UK made Salat their theme. I hope and expect that at every level, the administration of Khuddamul Ahmadiyya will have made a concerted effort to encourage the Khuddam and Atfal regarding Salat and explaining its utmost importance.
So with that, we come to the conclusion of our live report and the conclusion of our 3-day coverage of this event. As you heard from Huzuri Anwar's words, the focus has been on Salat, and we end with the prayer that we are able to fulfill our duties of salat and live up to the high expectations set by us by Huzuri Anwar. May Allah be his helper. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage and that we've been able to bring you some of the scenes from around the Ijtema, and hope that that has enabled you to feel a part of this special event. So inshallah, until the next time, from myself and the whole crew, finally I would like to thank the crew as well. They've been working tirelessly around behind the scenes, working day and night, filming and editing, and we hope that you have enjoyed the broadcast that they've been able to bring you. So from myself and the whole team, until the next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.